Next news item. Trump wrote to-do list for assistant on White House documents marked classified, according to sources. You can just ignore that video. It's been playing on a reel. Yeah, so one of former President Donald Trump's longtime assistants told federal investigators that Trump repeatedly wrote to-do lists for her on documents from the White House that were marked as classified.
What?
Okay, so I was talking to Casey about this because she has security clearance and she deals with classified documents, and she was not really bothered about the idea that he's writing to-do lists on classified documents, because apparently, like, writing on classified documents is not really that big a deal. It depends on what the document is, what it's being used for, sort of thing. The problem comes with who he's handing it to. So in this case, she was on the White House staff since 2018. So while she was working for him in the White House, this wouldn't necessarily have been a problem. But it wasn't the papers that she got handed while working at the White House that are under question here, or it's the ones that were in her desk drawer in Mar-a-Lago, because she continued working for him as a private citizen in Mar-a-Lago after he was done being president, at which point she would no longer have the same
She no longer had clearance at that point.
Yeah,
but she still had
there might be special cases like this. I'm just going by what Casey has told me, is that she probably did not have clearance once he was done being president because she had no reason to continue to have clearance. But like maybe there's a special case for personal assistants to former presidents. I don't know.
I feel like,
but even so, the fact that it was just like in her office drawer is like, because one of the cases involving classified documents that keeps getting brought up in comparison to the Trump documents thing is one where a guy went on vacation, accidentally took some classified documents with him, and he left them in his like friend's desk accidentally when he came back, and his friend found them, and his friend was like, "Hey, I need to like report this because like I'm not supposed to have these," and so he got in trouble. He got charged under some of the same statutes that Trump is getting charged under, and he was found guilty. And the only thing he did was accidentally take a document with him that he wasn't supposed to have taken with him, and then forget it there, and it was found in someone's desk. That was enough to charge him.
That's the bar for charges.
That was the bar for charges, and he was found guilty and served time in prison for that.
And people get pissed off that Trump is getting similar charges when there's likely intent involved where he's concerned.
Yeah. So like, yeah, national security things are supposed to be taken seriously. So now this story is very dubious at the moment because like it is like this is information that has not been officially made public yet. This is like an anonymous source has come forward and said that they were present during the interrogation of Molly Michael. And so they're reporting what Molly Michael said. So it's kind of like, it's probably true because like this is ABC News. They're a reputable organization that, you know, they don't just run. Like if this was in the New York Post, I would doubt it. If this was on MSNBC, I would doubt it. Just in case, like, for anyone that says like, oh, you just don't like the New York Post because they're right wing. No, I don't like the New York Post because they lie. MSNBC is like liberal Fox News. They exaggerate and lie all the damn time, and I don't like it. But ABC News is fairly middle of the road, and they're pretty good about vetting their stories.
This is one of the reasons that Media Bias Fact Check is such a wonderful resource that people should use more often when they need to.
Ground.news/Vice Rhino, or no, ground.news/ yeah, I think it is /Vice Rhino. I don't know. My video on Friday has the link. It's another sponsor spot. Accidentally.
There you go.
Accidentally. My last Ground News video was responding to J. Warner Wallace. My next Ground News video is responding to J. Warner Wallace on the What Would You Say channel. I didn't even realize that until I was like, one of the things I'll do is like when they have the call to action thing in the description that you're supposed to have, and like sometimes it can be hard sometimes it's hard to find the documents that they've sent to me in like the massive communications that I've gotten. So rather than like try and find the creator brief that they sent to me that I haven't opened in a month, I will like just go copy the link from my previous video that I had with them. And it was like, oh, it's the J. Warner Wallace video. Whoopsie doodles.
Again. Guys, this is an unwritten part of your agreement. You can only plug them when you talk about J. Warner Wallace.
Yeah. Okay, so here's the thing. Like, Ground News is actually, like, they are probably my favorite sponsor because it's the product that I find the most useful, and on top of that, I kind of have a soft spot for them because they were my first ever sponsor, and their company started like an hour away from my house in Kitchener, Ontario. Like, I've been to I used to go to Kitchener like once a month, so it's like they're right around the corner from me. So, like, I don't know, I kind of like them.
You should actually like go there and say hi.
Maybe I will. Maybe I can get them to do like an actual, like, if they pay me more money, I could like go and like interview people that work there or whatever. I don't know. That might be fun.
I mean, look, I've been saying that I'll do the same thing with High Res Studios. They're not a sponsor of mine, but I play some of their games because they're like 35 minutes south of me. I keep thinking like, oh yeah, I'll just go there and talk to them. I never do, but it's a thing that I need to actually do.
Yeah. Okay. So anyway, back to the story. So Molly Michael is the she was one of Trump's assistants. She told investigators that more than once she received requests or taskings from Trump that were written on the back of note cards that she later recognized were sensitive White House materials with visible classification markings. They were the kind of things that like they'd be used to brief Trump while he was still in office about phone calls with foreign leaders or other international related matters. So, like, not the kind of stuff his secretary at Mar-a-Lago should be seeing.
So they just throw that stuff around like it's confetti, apparently, instead of actually use. Doesn't the White House have a budget for like designated note cards?
Well, so here's the thing: is that the to-do list thing happened after he was done being president. Like, she did work for him in the White House, but this is Mar-a-Lago post-presidency stuff.
So it's documents that Trump had kept after his presidency that were at Mar-a-Lago that he then was writing on and handing to her.
Okay. I haven't been following the chat very much, but Tomoko Lovecraft says, my bad, Pelagia. Well, he said Pelagia first, but he spelled it wrong, so corrected to my bad, Pelagia. I don't know what you're talking about, but Pelagia is great. Go check him out. Probably because he got sponsored by Ground News as well, and he did like a whole video that was just Ground News, everything. And like, we were chatting privately, and I got kind of annoyed at my last sponsor spot with them because one of the things they say in the creative brief is they emphasize this a lot, is that you have to find a current news item and talk about that in the ad and like go over the numbers or whatever. So I did that. And then their feedback on the ad was like, the ad was great. Just take out the part where you went through the ad, like the actual like recent ad thing. Just take that part out. The rest was fine. So it was like the part that I worked the hardest on was the part that they wanted cut from the ad. And like, I normally have like, Tim Robertson normally writes my ads, but that one, he was like, you know, I don't have access to Ground News. And like, I could share my login with him or whatever. But he was like, I don't know what you want to talk about. So it's like, yeah, we both agreed that like this one would be easier if I just wrote it. So it was like, normally I just like, I get the ad copy from him. I might change a couple things here and there to make it sound like it's more my voice. But usually I don't have to think too much about my ads. I just read what he sends me and we're good. But like, this is an ad that I actually like worked really hard on. And they're like, oh, change this. It's like, God fucking like, damn it. And then I vented about it in our chat, and Paul was like, well, I don't mean to brag, but they said mine was good. First try. It's like, okay, yeah, but you did a whole fucking video just sucking their dick. Okay, man. Like, of course they said that was good.
God damn it.
Now, the ad that I have coming out on Friday, they didn't greenlight it on the first try, but they actually their corrections were they were not in the realm of annoying. They actually like custom made animations to go with what I was saying, and they just like emailed me like, yeah, the ad's great, just put in these custom animations that we quickly whipped up for you at these timestamps. And I was like, sweet, you're making me look good. All right, I can do that. I don't know how to fucking animate it. Like, I know what keyframes are. I know how to use them, but I like don't have any artistic sense, so I can't do shit with them. because I'm just bad at it.
But
So
when
like the
somebody
fact
else
that
makes it for
they
you and
just
throws
made
it
it
at
for
you.
me, and it's like it's easy stuff. Like if you're good at it, it's easy stuff, but it's just not the kind of thing that I'm good at. So it's like, yeah, it didn't take that many time, and it makes me look good. So yeah, sure, I'll throw those in, no problem. Also, it helps that I had to redo that video anyway because I didn't. I forgot to match the loudness of like me and the other. So like I was really quiet, and then the video I'm responding to was really loud. So it's like whether they approve it or not, I got to redo the video. So I may as well.
You're already spending that export time anyhow.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more than with my main sponsor. DDLG Playground just goes like, yeah, we took everybody else off except you. Oh, thanks. Sit behind the scenes with Vice Rhino and Suris.
Yeah. I like talking behind the scenes stuff. It's like, and what's great is I can talk shit about the people that pay me to advertise for them here because they'll never see this. Never. I don't even think they checked to make sure I reminded people of the call to action at the end of the video, because I can almost guarantee that they are not going to love that transition if they see it. Because it
doesn't help that if they're sponsoring enough YouTubers, they probably don't even have the manpower to go over every one of those.
Well, yeah, but like the whole video, like I completely accidentally like. So you know how authors will sometimes say that they were writing a character and the character got away from them and took on a life of their own and just kind of did their own things, and the author didn't have control over it.
Mm-hmm.
I've never really understood that until I scripted this video, because as I was scripting this video, I just like it just kept on going down the God and Jesus have a BDSM kink route, and it just kept getting deeper and deeper into that. And we get to consensual non-consent, and we get to all sorts of just, and it was getting really bad. And so like at the end of the video, like the final thing is like I transitioned like very abruptly from like, Jesus really wanted you to whip him like he's a naughty, naughty boy. And don't forget to go to ground.news/Vice Rhino.
Jesus Christ, dude.
So it's like that's not the exact transition, but it's something along those lines. And it's just like, oh, if they see that, they're not gonna love it.
Or maybe they will love it and they'll get ashamed about that.
Maybe. Hey, Jesus had a humiliation kink. That's okay. I talk about that in the video. This is a spoiler for Friday's video.
I mean, the dude's entire shtick was being hung like this and being nailed by a bunch of Romans publicly.
Well, that's how it started. Because I just said, like I was talking about how, like, he's an omnipotent being. Like, how much suffering you can endure is, like, inversely proportional to how... Or no, it's directly proportional to how much power you have. So, like, if you have unlimited power, then you have the ability to endure unlimited torture. So, like, to be whipped for a couple hours, that's, like, nothing. That's literally nothing. And it just kind of like went from that, and at one point I was like, oh, so yeah, you know, Jesus, he came down. It is literally nothing that he was just like whipped, hanged, and nailed for your sin. Like, actually, that sounds like a BDSM party. And then from there, it just snowballed.
If you think
not that kind of
it,
snowballing.
If you think about it, if you really think about it, if God is supposed to be omnipresent, then he's currently tickling your prostate right now without your consent.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah. He's unironically there.
But I mean, by the same token, every time you take a dump, you're shitting directly into his mouth.
100%. He's omnipresent.
He's omnipresent. You can't not shit in his mouth.
No, you have no option other than shitting, not just in his mouth, but on every part of his body. It's all there all the time.
He's just rubbing it on his nipples.
All right, guys. Now, on the next
say goodbye to the monetization on this video.
So you're always giving him a golden shower?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, yeah, because your bladder is constantly filling with just like a little bit of pee. So like that is, as it goes into the bladder, it's going through God's face. He's swimming in it.
He's just swimming in it.
Anyway, Michael was not present for the search at Mar-a-Lago when the FBI confiscated all the documents. But when she got there the next day, she found like they'd gone through drawers or whatever, and there were a bunch that were like upturned or whatever, and underneath the drawer she found a bunch of these note cards, and she was like, hey, the FBI should probably have these. And she contacted the FBI and was like, here you go, have these things. So she's flipping. But apparently when Trump heard that the FBI wanted to interview her, he told her, you don't know anything about the boxes. And then ABC, bless their little hearts, they said, it's unclear exactly what he meant by that. I mean, I think that is clearly them just trying to avoid a defamation suit. That's just ABC trying to avoid a defamation suit. Like, it's unclear exactly what he meant by that. Draw your own conclusions. We all know what he meant by that.
People in my chat are just going, please do not make me add what is snowballing to my search history. What is it?
Oh, they don't know what snowball. Your chat doesn't know what snowballing is?
Somehow!
How is it your chat that doesn't know what snowballing is? Oh my god. Your chat has educated me on so many things. And they don't know what snowballing is?
All right, chat.
It's when you come in someone's mouth and then you spit it into the next person's mouth, and so the cum gets a little bit of spit in it, and then they spit it into someone else's mouth, and every time it gets a little bit more liquid involved, so it snowballs. And becomes bigger. Anyway, John73 John says, speaking of golden showers, mar-a-lago.
Jesus Christ.
No, don't explain. Stop.
Next, you guys are going to be asking me what the word bukkake means.
Here, let me demonstrate. That's, you know what, Suris? That's where a stream is going. We need to like set up an OnlyFans stream so that we can. Because eventually eventually this is just gonna be the show.
All right, guys, let's talk about these really niche terms. I am actually sponsored by a fucking sex toy shop. This works.
Rhino, you've done the impossible. You've traumatized Suris's chat. Which sex toy shop sponsors you? Do you have Adam and Eve?
DDLG Playground.
DDLG Playground.
I'm the only YouTuber still sponsored by them.
Oh.
They nixed their stuff with everybody else because they weren't generating enough sales, but apparently my chat uses them enough that they kept me.
Tell them to give me a try, because I'm pretty sure I could hawk some sex toys on my channel, on my main channel. Absolutely, I can hawk some sex. I could hawk some sex toys.
Oh my god! I'll send them a message and see, because their words to me were that they had closed off their creator program, but they had kept people that were grandfathered in on the old program, and I was the last one that they hadn't like let go. So chaining isn't traumatizing, to be honest.
Okay, I would like to take this moment to offer an official apology to Molly Michael for having her name so close to this discussion. She's the Trump assistant.
Yeah.
Like, in case you missed that from the beginning.
I didn't miss that.
She has nothing to do with our snowballing discussion or our BDSM discussion or any of the other shit that we've discussed. Oh, poor Molly.
Guys, on the next episode of Rhino and Suris Traumatized Their Chats, muffing.
No, not doing that. Anyway, yeah, basically the story is that she turned the whole story basically rehashes the whole document thing that we all know this inside and out by now. But she was like, Trump is not cooperating with NARA. There's a lot of so many people here at mar-a-lago know about all these boxes. There's no way he can get away with saying that there were only 15. So she is probably testifying to the fact that he knew that he was not supposed to have those documents. Okay. Anyway, so that's
and then the documents in question on the next picture.
Actually, so one of the stories I wanted to cover was the F-35 thing. So if you're not familiar, pilot ejected from his plane, and but it wasn't actually going down, and it was on autopilot. So after he ejected, it just kept flying around, and I thought it was a hilarious story. But enough time has passed that they've kind of figured out what's happened, and all the mysteries are being solved and stuff like that. So it's not funny anymore. It's just a story of some guy pushed the wrong button. Whereas I would have rather laughed about not knowing where this plane is. Like, oh, this plane is just like flying around somewhere, taking pictures of people or something, and nobody knows. And that's a funny story. But like, no, it crashed, and we know where it is now. And the pilot, it was pilot error. He engaged the autopilot and accidentally ejected, and like whatever. I forget where I was going with. Oh yeah. So I forget who it was, but someone like posted a picture of the F-35 photoshopped into the bathroom with all of Trump's classified documents.
Oh, we found the F-35.
It's like we found the F-35. It was at Mar-a-Lago this whole time. I thought that was funny.
I mean, if everything else keeps on showing up there, why not?
Why not?